Are you a thermostat or a thermometer? Who determines your temperature? Who determines your altitude in life? Hey family, this is Reginald Martin of Kametaphysics Sacred Alchemy, where ancient wisdom becomes modern awakening. So, family, I'm just wanted to just talk today because I'm dealing with some stuff, and it's life, but just having to overcome some things, and I've always had to do that, and so I want to talk to you about, who determines or what determines your altitude in life. Do the people around you determine your altitude, or do the people or do you do that? And this is where I started off talking about the thermostat or the thermometer. A thermometer takes the temperature. It goes up and down based on the environment outside of it. Okay, it determines, that's what determines the temperature and what it shows, and what it's being. But a thermostat sets the environment. Okay, and if we allow the people that are around us to set our temperature, so to speak, then we become the thermometers. We go up and down with the environment and with the people that are around us, and that's usually not very good. And for me, I just think back, just about life, family, and what I've dealt with, just going through life, because my environment was set for me living life at a low temperature, so to speak. I grew up in poverty. I was supposed to be a statistic. I grew up in a single parent household, single mom, black kid, just in poverty. And at that time, back in the 60s and 70s, it was that was like a prescription for continuing that cycle and continuing that poverty, for a lot of different reasons. But for whatever reason, I've always been that one that just broke out of what was supposed to be normal and the statistics, okay? And I'm not saying that to brag, family. I'm just saying that, I've just recognized over a period of time, I teach a lot of stuff about mindset, and I know that it is not just make-believe. I know that it is that is something that is really true and applicable in our lives. When you have a mindset that is set on the positive things, that's set on being you going after your vision. Okay, so that's always been a place where I've been in my life. Morning.
Good morning.
And I've always just gone against the grain in a lot of instances, because I could have been somebody that got involved in gangs, drug dealing, all of that was at my disposal. But I always saw myself different, and I always saw my life different. I ended up, getting a basketball scholarship, and I ended up going to a Southern Baptist college, Bible college, had a seminary, all of that stuff. Imagine that. Where I am today, and you're going basically to a Bible college. But I beat the odds again, because family, I've always been like an intelligent kid. I was an intelligent kid, but I didn't like school. It was just, to this day, I still can't do like schools. I can't do like, programs that like, I don't know. I can't do a school thing, Man, I ended up graduating graduating from that college, got my degree and everything, double major, psychology and business. And, again, I beat the statistic, I even, for a while, or no, I won't say for a while, for a semester, I started to go after an MBA. But damn, I just hated school. So, I couldn't do it. I mean, it was like one semester I was done. But, family, I want to make an addendum because I was just thinking about, how, I said that I really didn't like school. I never did. It was just, and a lot of times I didn't like it because the answers and stuff had to be fit into a certain frame. It had to be, I had to think a certain way to get the answers. And I could never, well, I won't say never. It was hard for me to know what the teacher wanted. I just couldn't, I couldn't always figure that out, And it wasn't because, I didn't have any learning deficiency or anything like that. It was just, I just didn't think that way. So I've always thought differently. I've always been like a creative thinker, so even when, even after that, I still ended up becoming a school teacher for a few years, well, a number of years, but it was because I wanted to make a difference, But once I saw that system really couldn't contain, or really I couldn't do in that system what I wanted to do for kids, I had to get the fuck out, And, so that was, that was just a, I'm just thinking back about, how I didn't do well in school, even in college. I had to develop study habits and stuff like that because I just didn't, it wasn't something that I had, learned while I was in high school. So, graduating magna cum laude? No. Summa cum laude? No. It was laude, how? But I did it. Okay? So, but I've always just been that person just to think, that's been able to think outside the box. So I didn't let school or grades define, who I was. In other words, I didn't let the grades become my validation or lack thereof. I did okay. And even in college in the beginning, family, I came this close, to flunking out, But I rose to the occasion, and I've always been able to do that. And ended up rising to the occasion, and getting the degree. But just being in school, though, that was hard for me. And even now, it's just, I love learning. I love studying, but I cannot stand going to school. Go figure. But anyway, I just wanted to share that, family. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on my walk. But even ever since then, family, it's just, I've always been that person that's just been the outlier with the people around me. And even just doing what I do now, nobody in my family has ever done what I've done, just creating a business and, creating an online business, just really being an entrepreneur. My family was people that they got jobs, they got jobs on them, and they worked on that job for as long as they could, for the most part. So I can only think of one uncle that was an entrepreneur. But it was always I've always had a vision of something, or I would get a vision of something and I would go after it, because the way my mind worked is if one person can do it, why can't I? That was just my thought. Why can't I do it? And so if that one person did it, I don't care what they look like, shit, I got a brain. I can do the same thing. You know, why not me? And so I would just go after it. But then there's always those people around you, and this is what I mean about, you know, are you a thermostat or a thermometer? Because there has always been people around me that just could not see the vision that I had for myself. And a lot of times it was the people that really cared for me, you know, and they weren't trying to be like negative or anything like that. It was just they felt like they were caring for me and watching out for me. So they would probably tell me, or not probably, they would basically tell me that my vision and what I wanted to do was probably not something that I could accomplish, okay? Now, they wouldn't say those words. They would just start directing you to what they felt like was normal and possible, okay? And so because of that, you know, I've always recognized when people, you know, out of their goodness or whatever it might be, are really holding you back and holding you down. So it has caused me, family, to walk a road a lot of times where I'm just the only person, you know, I'm alone. And I just didn't have people that I could connect with that were, you know, had the same vision, or, you know, walking the same path and understood, you know, what I was going through, and, you know, we could have a camaraderie with each other. I've just never had that, you know. And even now, you know, it's not something that I have, you know. It's just, the visions that I have and what my next process is, it is always out of the norm, you know. And I just think about my, you know, creating the certification business, Kametaphysics certification business. And, you know, it's something that's never been done before, you know, and quite frankly, a lot of people, you know, come at me like, you know, man, you know, why are you doing this? You know, you're not supposed to be doing it. You're trying to make money off Cometics and, you know, stuff like that. And it's like, but I know that I've created something that can help people. But all along the way, family, every step, even before I did this, even in my business, you know, I've always believed in getting education and getting coaching, you know, and because there are people that can give you a perspective that they are gifted in that you might not be gifted in. So, you know, I have no problems paying for somebody to coach me, you know, and give me, you know, the direction. But even sometimes the coaches see you or see your business in one way, and they can't support, or they think, again, they have a certain amount of knowledge that doesn't jive with what they believe, you know. And family, I'm gonna tell you, when something like that happens, it's a blow, you know. And I just remember when I first started my business out about 5 years ago, and, you know, I had signed up for this coaching program, and you know, I was telling the coach what I was doing and everything. And then, you know, a day or two later, after we had our conversation, this dude basically wrote an article saying, you know, that you shouldn't start spiritual practices, you know. It's something you shouldn't have. Now, he didn't say that to me, but, you know, he just sent it out to his list, you know, knowing damn well I'm on the list, you know. So at that point, I had a choice, you know, to either be discouraged and quit because somebody who's supposed to be in the know knows better than me, you know, or knows, he has more experience, so he probably knows what he's talking about, you know. So I had to consider that thought, you know, that that his belief about, starting a spiritual practice. Family, let me tell you, I considered it, and I said to myself, fuck him. This is what I want to do, family. And the deal was, his family, I felt so strongly and feel so strongly about what I do that I can't even like stop doing it. It's like when I wake up in the morning, I'm thinking about this stuff, I'm thinking about teaching it. I'm thinking about just, creating content. I'm thinking about all the stuff that, that I like to impart, and I do it because, damn, I just enjoy it. It lights me, family, it fucking lights me up from the inside, okay? That's all what I can say. It's just, it's damn. I talk about following my joy, and this is what that means for me is when it's something that just simply lights you up from the inside, family, there is, you can't stop it, okay? And that's where I am with what I'm doing, and it's just till the day I die, this will be something that I'm doing. It just is what it is. So, but when he did that, and he wrote that article, that pissed me off, and I could have been like, oh, he don't believe in me, he's saying something negative, so he knows what he's talking about, so I'll quit. I could have did that, family. But basically I said, fuck you. This is what I do, It ain't even a choice for me. It's me. Damn. So, but needless to say, I proved his ass wrong, okay? Because I ended up creating something that has impacted people in a major way, And I know that just over the years, so in many different ways, whether it be, people saying something, whether it be, financially, being rewarded well with it. I know that what I do creates an impact, and it has had a major impact in people's lives, okay? So that was important for me an important thing for me to do was to say, you don't determine my temperature. I am not a fucking thermometer, So, moving forward, with, what I'm doing now in the certification program, I got, a coach to help me with some things. And, just with any business, family, there is always, there's always a personal development plan attached to it. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, know that there is a self-development plan that is attached to your business and your vision. Always, okay? And your business and your vision is going to come to fruition based on your belief about who you are and what you can do, okay? So my coach basically, so there were some things that were happening in my business, and I'm explaining to him what's going on, and then he comes back to me and he says, oh man, I didn't know this is what was happening in your business, maybe you need to think about doing this. So he started telling me to basically just to lower and scale down the idea that I have. I'm like, no, you don't know what I'm doing, because I know the problem that I am solving is major for people, that are transitioning through their Christian beliefs, moving out of Christianity and away from their Christian framework, okay? I am literally helping people shift identities. And I know from research that there just isn't a program like I am doing, okay? But so he doesn't know that though. He of course, they know a little bit about it, because you have to tell them what you're doing, of course, and so they can help you through it. But he doesn't know the details, obviously. But when he basically told me, I needed to essentially lower my expectations, I thought about it for a minute and I said, fuck no. I know what I'm doing. I know this is real and I know the impact that this has, so no. And family, again, I had to tell this person, like, no, I appreciate you as a coach, but I'm not doing that. I'm that direction I'm not taking. And he says back to me, basically, well, in all good conscience, I can't, support the idea that you have here, but I'll help you along the way, if you need me. And I said, you know what? I said, I understand what you're saying, and I understand where you are. I said, you don't have to support me. I said, but just don't be negative. Don't be destructive towards my vision. If you really want to help me, So, family, this is just something, again, that we go through. People go through shit. And I deal with shit too, just like you do, but it's a matter of you believing enough in yourself to do what you need to do to move towards your vision. And a lot of times, family, when you got a vision, the people around you can't see it. They can't see it like you do. But if you allow them to dictate to you how you move through into your vision, family, a lot of times you're going to be left just hanging. You're going to have people putting weights on you that don't need to be there. But you have to be the one to discern whether or not you're going to let their opinions impact your vision. And for me, family, hell no. This is something I said, you know what? If I am going to fail, I would rather fail doing it my way, doing it my way to where if the failure comes, then I've done it my way and I won't regret, because I'm not thinking like, damn, I should have did it this way. I shouldn't have did it like that. So you're not left with those regrets. I've had to say that to a couple of people a couple of times, like, what, I hear what you're saying and I appreciate it, because I know you're doing it out of caring. And my coach is doing it, I know, he's doing it from his place of understanding and him caring about me as his client. So I get that. He's not trying to be negative. That's not his intent. And I recognize that. But, I've had family members do the same thing, at different stages in my life when, I have a vision about something and then I'm trying to move in another direction. And the same thing, I said, you know what, if I'm going to get my ass kicked, I'd rather get my ass kicked doing it my way than doing it your way. So in my mind, I cannot have any regrets and I cannot blame anybody if I fucked it up doing it my way, being hard-headed, yeah, being stubborn, yeah, that's always been a part of me. I guess it's the Scorpio in me, I don't know. But I've always had the ability to just shake off other people's beliefs about me, because their belief about me is not my reality, family. Your family's belief about you is not your reality, unless you make it that way, unless you allow it, So I'm moving forward, whether he helps me or not. I've gone this far with, having to do things on my own and figure things out on my own. If I got to move through life or move through this next stage of my life doing that, damn, I'm willing to do that too, So nobody's going to stop me from doing what it is that I want to do, it's the only person who can do that, family, is me. Ultimately, I'm the only person that is going to squash my dream. I'm the only person that really is going to stop me from succeeding. Okay, family, it's going to be the same for you. You can let the people around you knock you down and keep you down, or you can fight for your dream and your vision. Which one is it going to be? So are you going to be a thermostat, Are you going to be the one to control the temperature, of your environment? Really, which comes from your inner environment, okay? That divine feminine aspect within you? Are you going to be the thermostat, or are you going to be the fucking thermometer? And let the wind and the temperature just blow and blow you around and blow you up and down. Just when the wind changes, or when the people's ideas about you change, then you change. People should not determine your altitude. People around you should not determine your temperature, family. You set that shit, And I'm fired up because I'm like, you know what? I'll be goddamn if somebody's going to tell me what my vision should look like. Hell to the fucking no. I'm fired up, family. It's just I'm pissed, So it's just and when I get pissed, I fucking fight. I don't sit down and sit around and wait for people to applaud me or wait for people to validate me. No. This is my vision, and I am the one who is going to construct that vision and create it. I am the creator of my reality. And family, I've lived through that too many times to know that it's true. That I am going to be the one who is going to create the reality. I am going to be the one who is going to make that vision come to fruition. Plain and simple. And it's going to be the same for you. What's it going to be? Okay, fam? So, thermostat or thermometer? I am a thermostat. Okay? I am a premium thermostat. I control all the goddamn rooms, the temperature. All right. Hey, family, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to continue on my walk. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will talk with y'all another time. Okay. This is Reginald Martin, out.